Here we go then, folks. It's the big one, the Carabao Cup Final. Hello and welcome to part 188 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have the Carabao Cup Final against Tottenham at Wembley. And then we're also going to play the second leg of our Champions League first knockout round game against Hibs. Since you were last with me, we've bottled the Premier League. We lost to Arsenal. It was only 1-0 away. It wasn't a disastrous defeat. But let's start with the Premier League. And we find ourselves 10 games away from the end of the season, 8 points behind Manchester United, and they have a game in hand on us. The Premier League is gone. We don't really care, though. We are still in the FA Cup. We've got an FA Cup sixth round to look forward to at some point, although it doesn't look like it's been drawn. We definitely won the game. We just don't have a game yet. And we are ahead against Hibs from the first leg, only narrowly, though. 3-2 up from that first leg. It was the away leg, though, so hopefully the home leg should just be a formality. And look at the form Simon Ganley is in. What a player this man is becoming. Unfortunately, he's injured now, so you're not going to see him today. He's injured for the next 2 to 5 weeks with a twisted ankle. That's not a bad first season in the Premier League, though, is it? At age 19, we have a young English superstar on our hands. But we're not going to talk about him because we don't get to see him today. This is the team that we get to see, and we want to win a trophy. We like winning trophies, and we're going to be putting this team out there. We've got Harry's in goal. Back for us, Sretenovic, Ripert, Day and Coupler, with Barbas, Caminero and Ruzic in midfield, and Serenok Nuhu in behind Jones and Piazza. So Jones does get himself back into the team for the big final, because of the injury to Ganley, and Jones is going to get a little run of games now. So this is Charlie Jones's opportunity to end the series as a first teamer for us, because if he can recapture the child, and it feels like we've been saying this for a number of seasons now, but if he can recapture the form that he showed that year when he was the best striker in Europe, which was like 4 years ago now, but if he can recapture that form, we could have a Piazza and Jones partnership to end this save with Ganley and Alonso there as super subs if we need them. And obviously, that would be the ideal situation. We want all of our players in tippy-top form so that we can go and win that pesky Champions League that we all keep going on about. My heart was in my mouth there, because although we want to win the Champions League, we all know the Carabao Cup is the big one. It's what we play Football Manager for. We want a Carabao Cup win. I think we've won it. Have we won this before? I feel like we must have won this before, but there's every chance that we haven't. Nuhu, let me know down in the comment if we've ever won the Carabao Cup before. I'll probably check after the game. But, you lot can let me know anyway. I'm sure some of you know better than me. Some of you have got encyclopedic knowledge of this save and remember players and matches and season finishes that I don't. This has been nearly a year of my life now. I think it's roughly 12 months since that day when I travelled to Nuneaton and met the players and started this save off. I've never had a YouTube series last as long as this one has, unless you count my daily vlog. But I've never had a series go a full 12 months. I don't think I've ever had a Football Manager save last all the way through, from the first day that I got the game all the way through to the new game coming out. It's been a full year playing this save, and there's huge parts of it that I don't remember. But we're 1-0 down, and it's troublesome. Not necessarily that we're 1-0 down, but more the way it's happened. We've watched that start with the Tottenham centre-back, work through their midfield, and just casual as you like, play the ball sort of diagonally over the top for their striker to run onto, and just on the stroke of half-time we go 1-0 down, and it was all too easy for Spurs there. And we come out in this second half with a job to do and a world superstar in the shape of Piazza, who has not turned up at Wembley. We've had doubts about him as a big game player before. We can't afford for him not to be a big game player. Without Ganley especially, we're going to need Piazza to be the world superstar that we all think he could be. And his little partner in crime, Nuhu's not playing very well today either. And I'm already feeling a 4-3-3 fairly soon, with probably Nuhu and Piazza coming off, which seems mad when we need goals to take off our two biggest goal threats. But if neither of them are playing well, we've got Mustafa and Alonso sat there on the bench, who have both got plenty of goals in them and have got a point to prove. We're knocking the ball around nicely in our midfield here, though. Caminero forward to Ruzic, Barbas, Sretenovic, the four of them are just knocking it around in a little diamond, and Spurs are letting them do it. How many times have they passed it between those four players? And Barbas eventually plays Jones in, who can't get the ball under control, but it's back with Sretenovic again, who of course is a midfielder who can play at left back. And very comfortable joining in and making it a little midfield four. It was quite pleasant having the four of them just keep possession there for a little while. It's a bit of a shame that it didn't have any end product. Who's having such a poor game. He did have a shot there, but it was wildly over the bar, and I think it's time for Alonso to come on. We don't want to make this last any longer than it has to. We've got half an hour to get back into the game, and I think the best way to do that is with Alonso part of a three-man attack, because we all know Alonso has goals in him when the opportunity arises. Alonso doesn't score bad goals, he scores spectacular goals, and I think we probably need to get Tate on to work with him. Piazza's not playing very well, neither's Charlie Jones. I don't know that bringing Mustafa on for either of them is the way forward, though. I think we need to get Tate on in midfield, and we're going to bring him on for Caminero, who's still recovering from his injury. Get Tate into the roaming playmaker role, and we want another. Basically, what we're looking for here is another wonder pass from Tate, because we know that he can do it. We just need to get him in position to do it. Although that was from Ruzic, and I think we've won a penalty, and this is going to be Caminero's final touch. I don't know why Caminero's taking it. That does not look like Caminero to me. That's Piazza. Why did it say Caminero was taking it? Oh, because Caminero came off before it was taken. Piazza scores his 24th goal of the season. That's what we kept him on the pitch for. And poor old Caminero steps up to take the penalty, and I make the substitution. What a vote of confidence for a man recovering from a broken leg. Yikes. Right, we're level now. We've got a chance to go on and win the game. We've got Mustafa sat there on the bench. Charlie Jones is not playing well at all, so we're going to get Mustafa on for Jones and hope that Mustafa decides in the final 10 minutes that he wants to prove that he's deserving of a spot in this attack as we go on to our run-in now, especially with Ganley injured. There is an opening there to play alongside Piazza. Can Mustafa make it his own? Piazza just wide. We've absolutely destroyed Tottenham with every stat other than goals scored. And I don't understand, with an attack like our attack, how are we finding goals so hard to come by? I know it's only the Carabao Cup, but I've been talking it up for ages. You'd think the players would listen. Thomas Day's not having a very good game at all. Normally, I would make a more positive change, but Day's playing terribly. So I think we're going to bring Taraka on for Day and just shift him around to be a proper centre-back. And I've been trying to steer away from making changes to our centre-backs too often. I don't want to disrupt them. I want partnerships back there. But when Day's playing as poorly as he is, it makes sense for that to be the change. Taraka's probably the better of the two these days anyway. Day's only really in the team because he's been having a moan about not being in the team. And the last thing we want is an unhappy player while we're trying to win a Champions League. We have to keep everybody happy. It's all about the dynamics, which... Talking of dynamics, have you heard them mentioned at all as part of the FM18 features? Yeah, I know they'll be there because it was new last year. I guess it just means they're leaving it alone completely. But it's the one thing that was obviously the big thing last year, and it's not really been mentioned in the build-up to the new game this year, which I guess means they've just accepted that it works, or they've quietly removed it, but I think they're just accepting that it works. I do see Sretenovic as being sent off here. I'm not deliberately ignoring it. I'm just... no, forget that. I'm deliberately ignoring it. I'm pretending that's not happened because it is problematic because we don't really have anybody. I mean, what do we do? Barbas can play centre-back. Ripert can play left-back, I think. Can he? Is Ripert the one who can do left-back? Yeah, Ripert can just about play left-back. So we're going to have to do that. And it's... Can any of these strikers play in midfield? Piazza, of course, can play in midfield. So I guess we just do this. Make Piazza the more attacking of the... In fact, no, we want... Oh, no, Tate can be a Carolero. He's comfortable doing that. We want Piazza getting further forward. And I guess we'll just put Alonso on to support. And we'll do that. We've only got to get through 10 minutes. Is it 10 minutes? Yeah, we're already into the second half of extra time, aren't we? Or are we? No. Now it's 15 minutes. I'm not very good with maths. Spurs are down to 9 men as well because they've just had a player go off injured. So, 9 men, 10 men. At least it's 10 against 10. These, I mean, it looks like a friendly, the amount of activity going on with these benches. This is insane. Right, 10 against 10. Have we got a winner in us in these final 7 minutes? Because penalty shootouts are a pain in the trousers. And we don't want to win the big one via penalty shootout. Although if it's the only way we can win it, we'll accept it. Right, Alonso can't get hold of the ball. I'm a little bit worried that we've got another red card in us yet as well, because we do get a little bit foully in pressurised situations. Harries makes a good save. Hopefully, the first of many as we head towards a penalty shootout, although we need to get there first. And Tottenham have a corner. We need a big counter-attack here, and it's with Alonso. We've got the opportunity for that big counter-attack. Is Mustafa forward with him? He's not. Alonso's got to go on his own. He does brilliantly, and it's Tate. And Tate fires it. Tate and Mustafa were next to each other there, and I can't help but think it probably ended up with the wrong guy. Tate, though, with a lovely corner, but we can't quite direct it towards goal. And we look the more likely to score, I think. We're definitely the fitter of the two, looking at the condition of the two teams. But it counts for naught. And it's penalties. And Piazza up first, obviously already scored a penalty in normal time. So hopefully he just knocks in another one. Of course he does, because he's Piazza. And one day that man will win the Ballon d'Or. And he'll be able to credit it with all starting when he scored a penalty in the Carabao Cup Final. And Harries makes a save. You people who doubted Harries, he's going to single-handedly win us the Carabao Cup here. The competition that tops all competitions. It's 1-1. Look at those stats. We've been all over him. Tate now. What does £37.5 million buy us in a penalty shootout? Can he score? He does. See? Money well spent, if for nothing else other than that penalty. Barbas, another expensive, fairly recent signing. This time last year, Barbas scores as well. 3-1. And how many penalties have they got left? 3. So we need a save from Harries here. Does that win us the game? I don't think it does yet, does it? No. And he didn't save it anyway. Still can't do maths, Kev. Spurs can draw level here, but they'll have only have one penalty left and we'll have 2. So we still are in the driving seat, even if they do. And they do. We just need to score these next 2, and then we don't need to worry. We score these 2, we win. Mustafa. Go on, lad. Score. Of course he does. Told you he was good. And who's got our final penalty? So to win the match, our final penalty is with... Who's it with? I mean, take your time. Alonso. I mean, you'd back Alonso to score, surely. Alonso doesn't miss, does he? Oh, he's not walking up very confidently, is he? And he's on a yellow card as well. I don't think he's going to get himself sent off before the penalty, but it's Alonso, and he scores. And we have won the Carabao Cup. Cue the ticker tape. There it is. I wondered why it was red for a second, and then I realised we were wearing red today. Yeah, I'm still wearing my same old suit that I always wear. Look at is that Oliveira, I guess, the sub-keeper at the back? Well into it. The amount of medals, that man is closing in on having more medals than games played now, Oliveira, as our backup keeper. So I can understand why he's so happy. But now our job becomes play Wolves offline and come back for the Hibs game and hopefully keep the save alive. Well, if we hadn't bottled the Premier League before, we have now. 2-0 up. With, 58 minutes to go, and we lose 3-2. It just all went a little bit wrong against Wolves. So we're not going to worry about the Premier League. It's all about the Champions League. We need to beat Tommy Taggart's Hibs. And there's just one change from the Carabao Cup winning team, and that's Tate coming in for Ruzic, who drops down to the bench. Sretenovic was obviously sent off in that game, suspended in our last Premier League game. We gave Toniolo a run out against Wolves, and I'm going to blame him for the fact that we weren't able to beat Wolves. So that's why Sretenovic is straight back in. But, where is Tommy Taggart? Oh, he's down on the bench. Jack Naylor, he's one of ours as well. 2 former Nuneaton guys. Is there any more? This is why Hibs are suddenly so good. I mean, this gives you a little bit of context about how good Hibs are. Because Taggart and Naylor, neither of them were good enough for us when we got to the Premier League. They weren't good enough for us mid-table Premier League. Yet there they are, playing fairly regularly for Hibs. I don't understand how Hibs are a Champions League knockout round team with players like Tommy Taggart regularly getting in their side. But what do I know about anything? We've got the lead from the first leg, 3-2 up. And obviously 3 away goals as well as part of that. We just need to not lose. Let's not mess this up. It would be nice to win 5 or 6-0 and send a message out to the rest of the Champions League. But it's the knockout rounds of the Champions League. We don't need 5 or 6-0. We just need to make it through and not embarrass ourselves. Because regardless, any kind of knockout here against Hibs in these circumstances, that's an embarrassment for Nuneaton. And... oh my word, here comes the embarrassment. So, it's 1-0 to Hibs on the night. 3-3 on aggregate. We are still ahead on away goals. But that's not the start I had in mind. Oh my word, what if we lose? What if we get knocked out? This series cannot end like this. I will never live it down if we end the series as a result of getting knocked out of the Champions League by Hibs. Nuhu hits the crossbar from in fact it wasn't, it must have been a save because we've got a corner from it and it's Nuhu again. Corner comes in towards Jones who can't really get a hold of it. It's bobbling around on the edge of the area and now Hibs have got a counter-attack, but luckily there's more blue shirts than greens in the other half and we managed to get it under control. And we need to assert ourselves on this game. Hibs have had one shot and scored a goal. We've had 6 shots and dominated possession and only really had the one opportunity from Nuhu from a set piece. And here's Piazza, best player on the pitch by a mile, and he finds Nuhu, who's got space to run into, and men in the middle. And that's not what Nuhu would normally do in that situation. Day across to Ripert and it hits the post this time, I think. And we've got another corner and Nuhu sprinting across to take it. Yet another corner from Nuhu, this time towards Tate, and it falls to Piazza on the edge of the area. Back to Tate. Caminero to Ripert. Why has he got the ball there? Barbas, Nuhu, crossed over towards Charlie Jones, nods it down to Piazza. I don't know why Jones just doesn't have a go at himself there. And Piazza really should have done better than just letting it bang him in the back of the heel and wander away. But we're putting Hibs under some pressure. We've had 60% of the possession in this game. It has been all Nuneaton, apart from that one pesky goal that's put them 1-0 ahead. We are still ahead on away goals. We just need to keep telling ourselves we're still ahead on away goals. But we really, really need to make sure that the next goal scored in this game is scored by us. This is where we need Nuhu, Piazza, Jones, the big game players. This is where we need them to step up and show what heroes they are. Nuhu, again, not having the best of games. I wonder if Nuhu is being harmed by the fact there's no real competition for his place in the team at the moment. Esteban's injured. Fernandez we've actually recalled him from his loan at Inter because he's done his cruciate ligaments. And I wonder if he's just getting a little bit complacent. Perhaps we need a few games with a 4-3-3 just to show Nuhu his space in the team isn't guaranteed. He does need to perform to earn it. And it's just wide from Nuhu. I mean, he's involved in every attack, but he's being fairly ineffective as part of all of them, which is why his rating is so low. Sretenovic into Barbas. Tate, has he got one of those special passes? It was a nice little ball to Barbas, but no real cutting edge on it. Tate again tries with a little cheeky little pass through, and this time finds Nuhu. It's back to Tate again. 4th time of asking, finds Piazza. Number 5 for Tate to Caminero now. Nuhu, Piazza, Jones, and there's the goal. And it was kind of out of nowhere from Charlie Jones. He said, look, you know what? I've just remembered I'm the captain and I was supposed to be the hot young striker before Piazza came along, before Ganley came along. I was the man we pinned all our hopes on. Let's pin some hopes back on me. And it was lovely short passing between, was it Tate, Barbas, Piazza, Nuhu? It went through all of them and ended up in the back of the net from Jones. And surely at 4-3 up with that away goals advantage as well, you've got to back us at this point. And I think I'm going to make a terrible decision and take off Nuhu and bring Alonso on, and we're going to go 4-3-3 when we're ahead in a Champions League knockout game in the second leg. And I can hear loads of palms hitting heads throughout the comments section. What is this? A team talk. Hand over to assistant. Absolutely I don't know what that was. Never done one of those before. I don't plan on starting now. Right, let's get Alonso on. Has a substitution happened? It has. Barbas with the corner now. Jones nods it down. Days scratching around in there. And he's hit the post as well. We're up to 65% possession for this game now. 21 shots to Hibs' 1 shot. How is this game only 1-1? We have absolutely dominated this match. We've dominated the entire tie. And we're just, I hate to say it, we're being FM'd a little bit. Right, changes to the midfield. Caminero is going to come off for Centurion. Should I bring Wander on instead for experience? I always bring Wander on from experience. Centurion's got experience now. He's an Argentinian international, for goodness sake. We're going to take off Tate and bring on Ruzic. We're just going to pass over Wander both times. Get Ruzic into that midfield as well for his Champions League class. Former Barcelona player, don't you know? One of my proudest signings, even though he was never like a proper regular for them. He played 40-odd games for Barcelona and then we signed him. That makes us superheroes. I don't understand how we've made such hard work of this against Hibs. 66% possession now. Ruzic back off the post. How many times have we hit the frame of the goal in this game? 3 clear-cut chances, 6 half chances, 27 shots. And we've only scored 1 goal and we've scraped our way through to the next round whilst looking completely toothless and incompetent. Ripe it now towards Piazza. Piazza wide by a gazillion miles, and I've never seen such a dominant one-sided draw. But at least we have made it through to the next round, albeit in the most pathetic way we could possibly come up with. And when does the draw happen? There was no sign of the draw on there, was there? So I guess we find out who we've got in the quarter-final tomorrow. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.